Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Today I've got a piece from A&B Crypto written by a chart analyst, and he talks about what was, in his words, a quote, price explosion in the past after a lot of sideways trading of XRP price. And so the title of the piece that he wrote up today is What's in Store for XRP? Your heavy XRP bags likely to yield better profits. So I'm going to run through this, talk about where price is going in the short and maybe medium term, maybe even long term. And then I'm going to cover a piece unrelated to XRP. It's about Miller Lite, who has teamed up with a blockchain firm. Now, before we get going, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, sweet dude, me too. Subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. It's a pretty gosh darn good idea. All right, let's dig right in here. Lately, there have been many XRP enthusiasts capitulating and selling their bags as the token kept knocking down supports. Major capitulation took place a week ago on August 14th, when the price of XRP shattered a year-old support and briefly tanked below it. There were a lot of people who posted tweets like the one seen below. And by the way, I want to point out that I absolutely do sympathize with everybody that is emotionally having a hard time with this, and I'm sure that there are some people hearing me speak right now. And even if you held your XRP, I sympathize because I know a lot of you probably went through some maybe panicky emotions. I totally get it. I used to somewhat be like that shortly after I entered the space. I didn't really fully get what was going on, especially in the first couple months or so. It was such a weird time for me to enter because it was November of 2017. I started buying XRP around 20 cents right before the huge run up to almost $4, just a couple months later, roughly. And then I got to see it tank. So most of the time that I've been in the world of crypto was during a bear market, right after the biggest bull run in freaking history. Weird time to enter. So anyway, from an emotional perspective, I get it. I sympathize. And that's why I like to share what I've been through and what I feel on this topic. Not because you should listen to me and buy or sell anything as a result of anything that I say, because you should not. None of this is financial advice. But I like to share my perspective here, and I have certainly been through this as well. But I got to tell you, at this point, I am bulletproof. I am impervious to the emotional feelings that can come around with the volatility of price. Nothing price-wise is going to make me panic sell or FOMO into buying XRP outside of what I'm already regularly buying. I'm quite disciplined on that front as well. So just my although I will say, when it got down to 24 cents, I for a brief moment I was like, oh, I could buy more at 24 cents. And I was like, no. That's not what you do, Matt. You are disciplined regardless of what the price action is. You buy on your set schedule, and then you stop buying once it starts going parabolic clearly. So anyway, here we go. And by the way, the reason that I'm so rock solid on this, it comes down to fundamentals. I think utility matters, and we are talking about the only cryptocurrency on the entire planet to ever be used in the commercial production of anything. Is that just going to go away? Are humans actually going to stop assigning a price to it because there was no actual value to it? I just can't imagine a world where that happens. If anything to that effect happens, then I tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, we are not privy to information that would lead us to believe it would be reasonable to think that. I think XRP is going to be here for the long haul. I think that XRP is one of those coins that will have staying power, and before this is all said and done, likely will have a market cap in the trillions. I believe that, based on all information available today. So let me read this tweet now. It states, and this is from XRP Killer on Twitter, I sold all my XRP. It's going to end up at 10 cents. And that was August 14th, 2019. If XRP dips under 13 cents, it's the end. Come at me with everything you got. Here's the thing, and if you have an investment thesis like mine, then the short-term price action doesn't matter because it's purely speculative, and I understand that the reason it's occurring has nothing to do with how useful XRP is. It has nothing to do with the success or failures of developers building on top of the ledger. It has everything to do with follow the leader mentality. It has to do with lemmings following the lemming in front of them off of a cliff. It's purely emotional, speculative buying and selling. That's all that's happening here. You got to wait a long time before that change and more rational minds win the day. And then here's another one, Sir Robert Reckford, XRP bags too heavy? And that was August 16th, 2019. This was clearly because XRP invalidated the support after it dipped to 22.5 cents. This price was last seen when Bitcoin soared to reach an all-time high December of 2017. The price from this point regained little momentum as it rallied. However, it is again stuck in a pattern and will soon break out. Zooming out on the XRP chart, one can clearly see distinct but repetitive patterns of a falling wedge, which breaks out to the top and at the end of the pattern. At press time, the breakout was imminent. The question thus was how high the breakout would take the price of XRP. Professor Barnhart from The Day the Earth Stood Still said it best, and here's the quote: "You say we are on the brink of destruction, and you are right. But it is only on the brink that people find the will to change. Only at the precipice do we evolve. This is our moment. Don't take it from us. We are close to an answer." Here's some wishful thinking and notes about where we can expect to see XRP go in the next few days to the next few weeks. So let's check and see what this particular chart analyst believes. As mentioned above, the price of XRP keeps forming a falling wedge that keeps breaking out at the end of the pattern. Right now, XRP is at the end of another falling wedge pattern, and the next logical thing is to expect a surge. So, how much will it surge? Usually, rising wedge breakouts are said to rise an approximate 60% from the lowest point of the wedge. Moreover, referring to the trend of a breakout after every pattern, the price looks like it will pump by 50% after it breaks out. This will put the price of XRP at 38 cents. Coincidentally, that is an intermediate resistance for XRP. And then we've got targets, and there's points 1, 2, and 3. So point 1, a rise of 50% by the end of August and mid-September. This would mean that the price of XRP, as mentioned above, would hit 38 cents. If the bullish momentum persists, the price would push towards 47 cents. However, this seems less likely considering the subsequent decrease in the breakout percentage seen in September 2018 and May of 2019. 3. After a brief breakout, the price would move sideways for a while, following which will be an explosion causing a massive surge in prices. And we did see that before, and I'm going to read a little bit more from this, but that's absolutely what happened. I always like to point out, if you look back to, and this is my favorite example, and it really began prior to me even knowing that XRP existed. But if you look back to roughly May of 2017, all the way through, say, somewhere around mid-December, XRP, it had a certain amount of volatility, but it was more or less flat for half a year, while Bitcoin was ramping up all the way up to, when did it get to 10,000? End of November, early December, and then somewhere around December 20th, somewhere thereabout, it hit almost $20,000. Astonishing, right? And for all that time, while Bitcoin in a calendar year went from 1,000 to almost 20,000, from May onward anyway, XRP didn't really seem to do much of anything. And like we could say, okay, well, there's some proof that XRP is not correlated to Bitcoin. No. Don't be dumb. I'm sorry. Just if you think that's the case, all you got to do is look at a chart and zoom out, and it's going to line up. You will see the correlation. That's also why I saw when Bitcoin tanked recently, within the last week or so, and I reported on several days, whatever it was. Everything's blurred together at this point. Whenever it was, though, XRP went down in lockstep. It's astonishing, exactly. But, anyway, let me continue on here. To further elucidate point 4, XRP's history would help. As seen in the above chart, the price of XRP between 2014 and 2016 followed a similar trend that XRP is following now. 3 distinctive falling wedge patterns, followed by a small surge, which was then accompanied by sideways movement, eventually leading to an explosion. And I've been saying this the whole time I've been running this channel. XRP, it moves sideways for long periods of times, and that way, that's the reason. One of the reasons I say it's the least correlated cryptocurrency to Bitcoin, even though it is correlated. Out of the top 10, it's the least correlated. And I always like to note that it moves sideways while other stuff is happening, and it does. It really does. The charts prove that. And there are other big names out there in the crypto world that agree. It's flat. I remember listening to. I don't listen to as much anymore. Good guy, very interesting guy who does chart analysis. Data Dash, the most popular crypto channel on all of YouTube. And I remember him pointing this out back in may have been late 2017 or early 2018. It could have been anyway. But it's just for whatever the reason, humans are treating XRP differently than other cryptocurrencies to a certain degree, and it is resulting in longer sideways movement. And so I just look at that, I recognize it, I say much hasn't changed even in 2019 in terms of how humans are treating XRP. I do see all sorts of development building on top of the XRP ledger. There's all sorts of stuff that Ripple's doing, finding great success, and Coil and all the other developers. So that is real progress. But in terms of how humans are still treating it, I think we got a long ways to go. But I'm excited about that because I keep filling up my bags. I'm so happy that I have this opportunity because I believe that this nascent asset class is going to be absolutely massive, and I believe XRP is going to be a big part of it. So you can tell me what you think below. All right, next piece here. Lite teams with blockchain firm for customer engagement game. And it made me think, before I start digging into this, there's another story that I covered somewhat recently, probably from the last month or so, about I think it was the NBA teaming up with some blockchain firm, and they created a game too. So Lite, not exactly the same thing, but interesting to me that these big entities are jumping into stuff like this, and you'll see why. So check this out. Lite, the popular beer brand from U.S. brewer Miller Coors, has teamed up with a blockchain marketing company for the latest iteration of its Know Your Beer program. For the ongoing campaign, launched July 1st, Vadim Labs built what it calls a mobile edutainment game called Great Taste Trivia that served a 12-question quiz to cell phones, geo-targeting customers in over 230,000 bars and restaurants across the U.S. Players answering all 12 questions correctly get to win a $5 prize that can be used to purchase Miller Lite. 10,000 prizes will be paid out over PayPal in the campaign that runs until September. Vadim Labs said Wednesday that the game was provided on its own platform that is built on blockchain tech. The game leverages NFTs, non-fungible tokens, to provide the quiz, social badges, rewards for social media sharing, and to ensure that the $5 prize token cannot be counterfeited. Using NFTs also allows Vadim to track game activations, engagements, and an engagement platform, and assign the reward based on that data. Tyler Mobius, co-founder and CEO of Vadim Labs, said, quote, "We have built a powerful brand activation platform that leverages a new blockchain-enabled smart media object that is highly programmable and able to deliver real tangible value from the brand to the consumer, like $5 to their PayPal account that remains a simple mobile experience." Giving companies the ability to create digital promotions and activation experiences using blockchain is the next major upgrade required to usher in the new era of brand innovation, Mobius added. And it's funny, I'm assuming so, okay, this sounds like to me like they tokenized something, basically. And really, this is the way that the world is going. I think that pretty much everything that is an asset is going to be tokenized, and they're finding ways to move value utilizing blockchain technology in rather unique ways here. Very fascinating. So I wonder if we're going to keep seeing a whole lot more of it, or it's just a fad that companies are jumping on board and doing stuff like this. I mean, to me, it seems that there's real utility here. And of course, with this particular blockchain technology, it's not like there's some native digital asset attached that's going to be traded on cryptocurrency exchanges, but nonetheless, it's kind of cool to see it, I think, anyway. So what do you guys think? Feel free to drop a comment below. That's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!